Just when the world thought Chrisean Rock had disappeared for good, emotionally shattered, legally silenced, and stripped of her rights as a mother, she came back. And she didn't just speak. She dropped bombs in a shocking Instagram live that went viral within minutes. Chrisean didn't cry. She didn't beg. She didn't break dot. Instead, she stared straight into the camera and said, "Y'all thought I was done? I was just letting them think they won." And then the moment that flipped everything, she played audio, real, raw, undeniable voice. Recordings of behind-the-scenes conversations, ones that paint a chilling picture of betrayal, manipulation, and a court system that may have been pushed into taking baby Junior by force. Within the first 5 minutes of her live, she exposed voices fans recognized, including someone very close to the courtroom decision, making statements that should have never been heard. The internet froze. What started as a custody loss is now unraveling into a full-blown scandal. So what's really in these recordings? Who is about to be exposed? And will baby Junior finally come home? Buckle up, because Chrisean isn't coming back quietly. She's coming for everyone. When Chrisean Rock lost custody of baby Junior just weeks ago, the entire internet watched her break in real time. The headlines were brutal. The judgment from the public was relentless. And the silence from her own team made it seem like she had been completely crushed. She was escorted out of the courtroom in a wheelchair, face buried in her hands, after collapsing at the very moment the judge ruled against her. This was the kind of collapse that felt final, as if there was no way back. Fans assumed it was over. Blueface gloated online. Carlissa went live with a smirk. K and CPS issued a generic statement that offered no clarity. No sympathy, just cold legal finality. But behind closed doors, Chrisean wasn't disappearing. She was documenting, reviewing, strategizing. Sources close to her team revealed that in the days following the ruling, Chrisean cut off contact with almost everyone, even her closest friends, and focused completely on what she called Project Get 'Em Back. Her social media went silent. No tweets, no stories. Not even a hint that she was watching everything unfold, but she was. And she wasn't just watching, she was recording. Because before the final custody hearing, Chrisean had begun secretly saving voicemails, private conversations, and behind the scenes recordings that were dismissed or outright ignored during court proceedings. These weren't just random clips, they were intentional, time-stamped, and filled with damaging statements from individuals who had testified against her. Among them, a producer who claimed to be concerned for baby JR's well-being, a CPS caseworker who joked about putting the drama to rest, and a woman's voice, believed to be Carlissa, saying, "Don't worry, she'll be out the picture by next week." They trust me more than they ever trusted her. And now with her comeback, Chrisean is releasing these tapes in a surprise Instagram Live that pulled in over 1.2 million viewers within the first 30 minutes. Chrisean emerged from the shadows, not crying, not raging, just calm. Wearing a black hoodie and barely their makeup. She held her phone up and said, "They thought I was spiraling. Nah, I was documenting." Fans immediately began screen recording, and then she pressed play. The first voice on the tape, a CPS supervisor talking about how public pressure could ruin the department's image if Chrisean were to gain sympathy in the media. "We have to protect the agency's integrity. If we delay placement, we risk social backlash, especially if she pulls the mental health card again." The chat room on her live exploded. People demanded answers. This is who took her baby. How is this not a violation? CPS played politics with a baby's life? And then came recording number 2. This one featured a well-known reality TV producer, allegedly coaching a crew member on how to edit out calmer moments with Chrisean to make her look less stable on air. "Let's keep the crying, the pacing. Lose the part where she prays over the baby. It's boring. People want raw chaos." Fans were shocked. Industry insiders began texting journalists. A podcast producer tweeted, "I've worked in unscripted TV for 7 years. These tapes are real, a lot of people are getting fired. But the most devastating recording wasn't even about Chris E. and it was about baby Junior. In the final minute of the live. She played a muffled conversation to people. One of them allegedly Carlissa. Discussing the child's placement, they said if we act fast and keep the noise low, we can get emergency placement. But it has to look clean. No drama, clean. With Chrisean involved, you'd have to sedate her first. Trust me. Once she sees the judge, she won't even know what hit her. The live cut off before she could explain more likely. Due to overwhelmed servers or a forced takedown, but the damage was done. And just like that, the narrative flipped. Overnight. Hashtag Justice for Chrisean replaced hashtag Protect Baby JR on trending charts. People began demanding an emergency court review, a re-examination of the CPS processa, deeper look into how reality TV producers influenced the case scene, while the internet buzzed. Chrisean posted again, a single black screen with white letters. I got more. Don't test me. The world had written her off, but now they're hanging on to her every word. Within hours of Chrisean's explosive Instagram live, the internet was in full meltdown mode. Clips of the leaked audio were reposted across platforms, Twitter, TikTok threads, and even in reaction videos. On YouTube, some hitting 2 million views in under a day. Everyone had the same reaction. Wait, this was bigger than we thought. But while fans rallied, reposted, and demanded justice, the people Chrisean exposed, they panicked. First, the live mysteriously vanished from her page. It wasn't archived. It wasn't saved. It just disappeared. Then, reports surfaced that multiple legal threats were sent to Chrisean's team overnight. An insider source told a gossip blog her legal rep got 5 emails in one night. 2 cease, 1 request to retract the audio, and a notice that CPS would be reevaluating public statements made about ongoing cases. Translation: they were scared, but the question remained, was anything Chrisean shared actually illegal? A former CPS investigator anonymously posted, if that was recorded in a one-party consent state and she was involved in the convos, it's not illegal. Embarrassing. Yes. Illegal. Not necessarily. Still, that didn't stop Carlissa from firing back. The very next morning, she went live, but this time there was no smirking, no sunglasses, no champagne. Just her sitting in a living room with a stack of papers and a pit bull snoring in the background, and she came for blood. First of all, I ain't gonna sit here and act like Chrisean's some saint. She leaking half conversations, chopping up clips, making herself look innocent. Then she held up a document, blurred, but definitely legal paperwork, and said, what she don't want y'all to see is this. Court order filed last week. She already lost her appeal. CPs ain't giving them back. Not now, not later. Fans immediately questioned it. Why would you have her court docs? If the appeal's denied, why isn't that public? Something's not adding up. Even more suspicious. She never showed the front of the paperwork. She never showed a court seal, and she never mentioned a specific date. Instead, she went off ranting about Instagram lawyers, fake fans, and how she's the one raising baby Junior now. But just as Carlissa was wrapping her live, a new leak hit Reddit. A screenshot, allegedly from a private group chat between CPS officials, showed a conversation referencing the Chrisean live. One line stood out. We need to flag this one. If verified, it could trigger a procedural audit. Wait, what started as a custody battle was now turning into a full-blown investigation into how the case was handled. But the biggest twist came that same night when a well-known entertainment attorney posted a now-deleted tweet. If those audio files are authentic, the mother may have grounds to reopen the case and file a civil claim. Boom! Civil claim. Suddenly, it wasn't just about getting baby Junior back, it was about holding people accountable. And guess who went completely silent? Blueface. Not. A post. Not a tweet. No smug stories, nothing. Some say his lawyers advised him to disappear. Others believe he's afraid that more recordings exist, ones that might feature him. Especially since fans uncovered a clip from one of Chrisean's older lives where she's arguing with Blueface in the background. He says, "They can take him for all I care. Maybe then you'll finally calm down." The comments now read, "This didn't age well. He meant that literally. She's about to drop the rest of that call. I can feel it." And then just before midnight, Chrisean posted again, a black background, white text. "I was quiet when they took my son. Now they want to threaten me for telling the truth, okay?" And then she added, "Monday, part 2. The post racked up over 800,000 likes in 4 hours. And the caption, just 3 words, screenshots, real names. Rumors are already flying that her next drop will include actual text messages between her and CPS reps group, chat screen recordings of producers discussing narrative shaping, and a possible leak of footage that was removed from her reality show before airing. Meanwhile, her team confirmed that she's now consulting a high-profile civil rights attorney, the same one who represented other public figures in wrongful state intervention cases. The tide is turning fast. What was once a tragic custody loss is now shaping into a scandal that could rock reality TV, CPS credibility, and public trust in the entire process, and all eyes are now on Monday. When Chrisean promises to name names, Monday morning didn't start with a post. It started with a bang. At exactly 9 a.m., Chrisean Rock dropped a 5-minute screen-recorded video on her Instagram captioned, "They wanted names." Here, the video showed her scrolling through text messages, voice notes, and private conversations, one after the other, and what it revealed was more than anyone expected. First slide. A full conversation between Chrisean and a CPS caseworker named Renee J., the same name referenced in earlier leaks. In the chat, Renee appears casual, even friendly. "You're doing great, Mama. Don't stress too much about the hearing. They just want to see stability." Another message said, "I know for a fact Blueface's mom tried calling in a report last week, but we didn't even flag it." Boom. So at one point, CPS was on her side. Second slide. An Instagram DM between Chrisean and a junior producer from her reality series. In the messages, the producer admits, "They cut your prayer scene and the night feed, said it didn't fit the narrative." Chrisean replies, "What narrative? That I'm crazy?" His answer, "I don't decide that. They wanted it messy." Screenshot has over 10 million views in under 4 hours. Third slide. A Cash App receipt from a name fans quickly tied to one of Blueface's longtime friends, someone who was publicly neutral during the custody case. The note attached said, "For the edited version." Fans immediately connected it to a previously leaked video, one that showed Chrisean upset while holding baby JR. Now people believe that video was cut together to look more unstable than it was, then circulated online days before the final custody ruling. Comments flooded in, so they paid to make her look bad. They literally built the case using fake receipts. If this is real, someone's going to jail. And then came the final slide. A recorded voice note, short but brutal. The voice is unmistakable. "Carlisa, if she thinks she's keeping that baby, she's dumber than I thought. I've already made the calls. We'll bury her in paperwork." Chrisean didn't even add commentary. She just let it play and posted the caption, "Bury me, bat." By noon, #ChrisEAN exposed the system was trending globally. Celebrities flooded her comments with support. Keke Palmer wrote, "Sending you love. The truth always finds light." Megan Thee Stallion posted a simple tweet, "We see you, sis. Keep shining." But it wasn't just emotional support. It was legal movement by afternoon. Multiple legal analysts confirmed that 2 civil rights organizations had reached out to Chrisean offering representation. One lawyer told Shade Room she may have grounds for a civil suit against CPS, the production company, and possibly individuals involved in evidence manipulation. But the biggest twist? The production company behind her reality show issued a statement. "We are aware of recent accusations made by Ms. Chrisean Malone and are conducting an internal review regarding production decisions. We take such matters seriously and will cooperate with any legal inquiries." Fans weren't buying it. They only care now that she has proof. You edited her motherhood like a reality villain arc. Too little, too late. And while media scrambled to cover the backlash, Blueface went live for the first time in days. But instead of addressing the leaks directly, he ranted. "You can drop a million texts. Don't mean you a good mom. You wasn't ready. CPS saw that. The courts saw that. Everybody saw that." But viewers noticed something off. He looked rattled, defensive, unfocused, and at the end of the live. Right before logging off, he muttered, "You better be careful with them tapes, though." Fans latched onto it. Why he's so scared of recordings? Did she tape him too? What's he hiding? By the end of the day, rumors were flying that Chrisean had even more evidence, including audio of conversations with Blueface that had never been made public. And here's where it all shifted. A petition to reopen her custody hearing crossed 500,000 signatures. Civil rights attorneys began appearing on news segments, saying the case could set a precedent for how public figures are treated in family court. And sources close to CPS say the department is under internal review after whistleblowers claimed external influence had affected their judgment. The most jaw-dropping part? A court clerk leak revealed that an emergency reassessment hearing has already been scheduled, and Chrisean has been invited to testify. The date? 10 days from now, and this time, the cameras won't be off by Tuesday morning. The story had completely taken over headlines. The comeback of Chrisean Rock was trending not just on Black Twitter, but on every major media site from TMZ to CNN's entertainment tab. The once doubted mother, who was portrayed as unstable and unfit, had suddenly become a symbol of system failure, and resilience. News anchors debated the court's original decision. Opinion writers questioned how far reality TV manipulations had gone. And fans were organizing. Within 24 hours of her viral expose, 3 major things happened. A protest was planned outside CPS headquarters in Los Angeles, with over 1,500 RSVPs on Facebook, and X, formerly Twitter, A-list celebrities began resharing her video with captions like "Don't let them silence her," and "We believe mothers like Chrisean." And a documentary filmmaker announced a short feature series titled Custody Wars: The Chrisean Tapes, coming to YouTube within the week. Carl Issa, now cornered, tried to fight back. She went live again. But this time, she was visibly overwhelmed, stumbling through explanations, accusing Chrisean of editing the audio, and blaming bloggers for twisting the narrative. But it didn't land. Commenters flooded her with backlash. "No more lies. We heard you clear. You literally said you'd bury her. Own it. Why you so scared now?" And while Carlisa struggled to regain control of the narrative, Chrisean was silent. Completely. No tweets, no stories, no replies. Just one Instagram story reposting a fan's message that said, "You ain't crazy. You're a mother fighting a dirty system." The silence only made her supporters louder. Meanwhile, insiders from Zeus Network began speaking anonymously. One editor wrote to a blog, "We were told to make her look unstable. Every scene where she was calm, nurturing, it hit the floor. They picked fights, lit fuses, and made her the villain." And now they're panicking because the truth's out. The industry was beginning to fracture. 2 producers from unrelated shows even tweeted, "We've seen this happen to women in reality TV for years. I build them up just to destroy them in public custody battles." Legal experts began weighing in heavily on a popular YouTube legal breakdown show. A family court attorney said, This case may force a review of how much social media footage, especially curated or edited content, should weigh in custody decisions. Even one ruling was based on edited footage. That's a violation of due process. Some are even pushing for the Chrisean clause, a proposed amendment that would prevent media-driven narratives from influencing child placement decisions without verified psychological evaluation. But perhaps the most surreal moment? Join live between Chrisean's sister and one of Blueface's cousins, both of whom used to be divided, ended with them publicly stating, "We might not always see eye to eye." But baby Junior deserves better than all this mess. In that moment, fans realized something. This wasn't just a drama. This was a movement. And with the emergency hearing only 8 days away, people were holding their breath, wondering what cards Chrisean still had left to play. Just when it felt like things couldn't get more explosive, an anonymous email hit multiple major gossip blogs at once. Subject line: They all knew. The sender claimed to be a former assistant who worked behind the scenes on both the custody investigation and the reality show's production team, and they attached files that would make jaws drop across the internet. The first attachment was a voice recording a heated conversation between a Zeus Network executive and a CPS caseworker, both using coded language. But even with the distortion, one thing was clear. You guys need to wrap that up on your end. We've already scheduled the next arc. She can't have the baby on camera. It ruins the pitch. The CPS workers reply, "Done." She gets too emotional on live anyway. Not the kind of mother we want headlines about. Fans were stunned. Were they saying the custody decision was timed to fit a reality TV storyline? The second file was a spreadsheet. On the surface, it looked like a production budget until you zoomed in and saw one chilling line item: post-custody spin phase final edits. Contract reshuffle, press manipulation, and right beside it, a payment record to a PR firm known for damage control during celebrity scandals. Social media exploded. This wasn't just personal, this was scripted. They sold a mother's pain for ratings. This is beyond exploitation. This is evil. The final piece of the leak: an email thread showing that Blueface's team was aware of CPS's upcoming decision before the hearing happened. Dated 2 days prior, the message reads, "Once we get confirmation on Junior, set up the studio meeting. She's not allowed in unless it's supervised." The implications were devastating, and just as fans began digesting the bombshells, CPS issued an emergency statement. They claimed the email and recordings were under investigation, but also stated no official ruling has been changed. At this time, baby Junior remains in protected custody until further legal review is completed. Translation: they're buying time, but they've been exposed. And the cliffhanger: minutes after CPS's statement went public, Chrisean's team posted a teaser clip, a blurry video clearly recorded secretly, showing what looks like a backroom meeting between 2 CPS workers and a network producer. In the audio, one of them says, "This isn't about safety.